All right, good morning and welcome. It's Corporate Governance Platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburiwo. Let me quickly remind you that ICSAN is a member of the Corporate Secretaries International Association, CSIA, a Hong Kong registered global organization that's dedicated to developing and growing the study and practice of secretaryship to improve professional standards, the quality of governance practice, and to improve organizational performance. On the program this morning, we are going to be looking at the relevance of whistleblowing to corporate sustainability. Our guest this morning is Mr. Babatunde Wura, FCIS Council Member ICSAN, is also CEO Golden Teas Nigeria Limited, a financial and secretarial services company. Good morning, Mr. Wura.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for joining us on the program this morning. All right, also right here is Mr. Kaudi Ketefe, Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning to you, all our listeners. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
All right, we're going to take this message, of course. We'll be right back.
Hey, Obinna, good to see you. You look so worried. Is everything all right? I'm having serious issues in my company, balancing the interests of my company's many stakeholders like shareholders, management, customers, financiers, government, and communities giving us a problem. That has to do with corporate governance. Exactly. Then you need to get in touch with ICSAN. ICSAN? Yeah, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. ICSAN. They provide you with seasoned and top-ranking professionals trained to uphold the standards of corporate governance and efficient operations. You can also get in touch with ICSAN if you want to become a chartered secretary and administrator. Contact ICSAN by visiting the website www.icsan.org or call 009 06 601 69. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, our corporate governance platform right here on the 9.7 FM. And like I said earlier, we're looking at relevance of whistleblowing to corporate sustainability. All right, Mr. Wura, let's start this way. What is whistleblowing?
Thank you very much. Let me start from this standpoint. In football and in the field of play of football, when a whistle is blown by the referee, it signifies that something untoward has happened. In corporate governance and in organizations, whistleblowing is the reporting by a person, usually an employee of the organization, if or are concerned about anything or a series of things that are happening in the organization which has elements of either of these things, law or regulation violations by the organization, miscarriage of justice, financial malpractice, or danger to public health and safety. The reporting should be made to senior executive of the organization, not direct reporting. And if this is not enough, the employee concerned may go outside to report to outsiders like the press, the police, or in Nigeria, CFCC or ICPC.
All right, let's look at the relevance of whistleblowing as regards concept of corporate governance.
Oh, thank you very much. Corporate governance is about behaving in an appropriate and transparency manner. Everything about management of organizations, of even the household, is about good governance. And good governance should be said to be the culture and the climate of consistency, responsibility, accountability is there, which is effectively deployed throughout the organization. That is the part of what we are talking about. Any deviation from what I've just said will amount to misdemeanor or misdemeanor that a whistleblower might be interested in exposing. This goes a long way in organization sustainability, because if everything is going on well in the organization, the likelihood is that the company will be on a sustainable pace.
Is whistleblowing equally a useful tool in the public sector?
Beg your pardon, I want to get the answer question again.
I'm talking about, whistleblowing. Is it also a useful tool when we look at the public sector?
Oh, yes, certainly. Taken together, we're talking about the culture and behavior of people, whether in the household, private organization, or even in the public. It is essential that good governance is instituted in both private and public space. So it's quite relevant and useful in the public space.
All right. I'm sure you're aware of the national policy on whistleblowing that the federal government had developed. Do you think such a policy is enough, or you think having an act of National Assembly should be preferred?
I remember that policy. The national policy on whistleblowing is a welcome development, but I have a misgiving about its operation, and that needs to be further looked into to conform with what framers of whistleblowing policy had in mind, especially the aspect that deals with absence of malice, the good faith principle. The one we have in Nigeria that I know of is not clear cut, and that will bring us to the question of the National Assembly enactment to have a clear policy.
All right. So what positive development would having an effective legal framework on whistleblowing bring into the country?
Oh, thank you very much. It clearly would put everybody on his or her toes to behave correctly, because you know that if you do not, and the presence of legislation to catch up with such people will be enough deterrent if one is not addictive. I remember the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in the USA called SABO. In the USA, it created even hotline for whistleblowers to confidentially go to the public space to announce if they have concerns about these issues. So, having a National Assembly act on it would set a clear guideline to everybody, and I believe that will be the way forward.
All right, let's look at risk management and whistleblowing policy. Is there a relationship between these two?
Oh, whistleblowing, risk management.
Yes.
Actually, whistleblowing policies should be embedded in risk management. I would define risk management as being uncertainties that matter. Because everything about risk, there are things that are with us every day, but they matter to some people than the other at a given time. So you do not expect the whistleblower will blow whistle, but when they blow whistle, you investigate. So is risk management. And the principle of risk management that we are taught is that you identify your risk, evaluate it, control it, and monitor it. So monitoring of risk is an everyday affair. So it is whistleblowing. So they are very relevant, and whistleblowing policy should be embedded in actually enterprise risk management of any organization.
All right, before I let you go, Mr. Kwelewura, what advice do you have for the institutions and organizations on whistleblowing?
I would confidently say that they should set appropriate and clear policies on whistleblowing, because if there is a guideline that everybody knows is in place, everybody is guided, including from the top to the bottom. I will cite the example of the PIDA in the UK, the Public Interest Disclosure Act of 1998, gives protection even to those who whistleblow, so that they are not unduly punished for what they have done. There is what they call gagging clause, which is made choice in that legislation. I think we need to do that in any organization, set appropriate and clear policy on whistleblowing. And we do advise, corporations, institutions, when we do evaluate governance audit and board evaluation, that they should have this in place.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Babatunde Kwelewura, FCIS. Council member Iksan is also CEO Golden Teas Nigeria Limited, a financial and secretarial services company. Thank you for joining us on Corporate Governance platform this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Ketefe, let's come to you for some announcements.
Thank you very much, Fumi. The announcement we have today is on the forthcoming activities of some of our chapters. To start with, the Oyo State chapter of the Institute is having the investiture of fourth chairman tomorrow. Dear esteemed members, this is to remind everyone that the Oyo State chapter of ICSAN is holding the investiture of our fourth chairman tomorrow, Thursday, June 17, 2021. The chairman is Mr. Oluseyi Adedayo Abiodun, FCIS. The occasion will also witness the induction of new executive committee members of the chapter. The time is 10 a.m. prompt, while the venue is Jogos Center, 1 Afesta Drive, off Ring Road, Ibadan, Oyo State. The formal investiture will be preceded by 2 lectures. The first lecture has the topic, Effective Stakeholders Management and Imperative for Good Governance, and will be delivered by a management consultant, corporate governance and compliance practitioner, and ICSAN Council member, Mr. Francis Olawale, FCIS. The second lecture has the topic, Business Intelligence, Financial Strategy, Control and Corporate Governance during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 era, and will be delivered by Chief Executive Officer, Tiger Logic Solution Limited, Mr. Dejo Claudius Akinyemi. The investiture and induction ceremony follow immediately after the lectures. The second announcement is on the forthcoming webinar of the Abuja chapter of the Institute. Dear governance professionals and members of the public generally, the Institute hereby invites you to a webinar on economic, social, and governance coming up on Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. The time is 11 a.m. West Africa time. The webinar, which is being organized by the Abuja chapter, as I have said, has the theme Environmental Social Governance Beyond Reporting. Environmental Social Governance Beyond Reporting. The webinar is conceived to further enlighten participants on best practices on corporate governance as regards economic, social, and governance matters. The guest speaker is the Corporate Relations Director and Company Secretary, Guinness Nigeria PLC, Mr. Rotimi Odushola. Participation is free. Registration is, however, required. The link to register for this webinar is already posted on all the Institute's social media platforms. You are hereby enjoined to go ahead and register for this seminar. It promises to be enlightening and enriching. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaudi Ketefe, FCIS Head of Research, ICSAN. And that's a bit this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. Return same time, same station next week, Wednesday. My name is Funmi Omoburiu. Enjoy the rest of the day.